Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Let's Talk 3.0. Tonight, our guests, who are some of the most brilliant minds, will help us shed the light on some of the hottest topics, including crypto, blockchain, metaverse, and Web3. With us now, our guest, Juana Attieh, who is the co-founder of Flus, that is an aggregator of Fiat to crypto gateway. Welcome, Juana, and thank you for joining us here today with Let's Talk 3.0.
Thank you, Bahat. Thank you so much for having me.
Really appreciate your time. Juana, previously we have covered some basic points about cryptocurrencies in some of our previous episodes, but what we are interested in today is to know more about what does it mean to be an aggregator of fiat to crypto gateway such as Flus.
Okay, cool. So an aggregator means, I'll just start with the definition. What an aggregator does is it collects related items together. That's kind of the definition of what an aggregator is. And what we do at Flus is we integrate with multiple on and off ramp providers. What that means is there's different services that facilitate on and off ramping. So buying and selling of cryptocurrencies with fiat money. So let's say Bitcoin with US dollar, for example. And they do that through different payment methods. So either credit card, debit card, Google Pay, Apple Pay. But each service facilitates that opportunity with specific payment methods, or they cover certain countries. So what we do is we integrate with all of these different providers. So we can provide we can cover all of these countries, and we can provide all of the existing payment methods. But what doesn't exist right now in the market is the opportunity to buy and sell cryptocurrency with cash and mobile money. And in emerging markets, those are the two payment methods that are widely used. So what we do with Flus is we work with providers in order to facilitate that on and off ramping using these payment methods. And what we do is we integrate all of this, and we do all of this under a single API or a single integration, so that businesses, let's say an NFT marketplace, can just integrate with us, and their users can now have the opportunity wherever they are in the world to be able to buy and sell cryptocurrency using any payment method that suits them, because of all of these services that now exist under this one umbrella.
Can you briefly tell us what exactly is an API?
An API is just like you create an integration from a developer point of view. You can just integrate using this, it's like lines of code that you can just easily integrate this solution into your solution. So it's a new way of software as a service. It's a new software as a service way of doing things, where each company can create a service or an application or a model and then expose they call it an API. I kind of forget what it stands for now at the top of my head, but it just makes it really easier for you to be able to plug in other services into your platform, so you don't have to develop it yourself.
Okay, that's very interesting. And usually
called application programming interface.
Oh, okay. Well, that was fast. Okay. Can you tell us more about the process that anyone with fiat money can follow in order to buy crypto?
Yeah, absolutely. So what exists right now is, if you have fiat money, you can go to a centralized exchange, for example. If you have access to a credit card or a debit card or a bank account in any sense, what you could do is create an account on an exchange, do KYC. So what that means is you put in your identity, they verify your identity and everything, and then you can buy cryptocurrency using credit card, a debit card, Google Pay, whatever is in your availability. Or the other way of doing it is, let's say you're on a platform like MetaMask, the wallet, for example, and you want to buy crypto, then you would be redirected to one of those services that I was talking about that will allow you to buy and sell same thing using your debit card, your credit card, or whatnot. The other way of buying crypto that we see in more of our countries, like in our region and emerging markets, is what's called an over-the-counter trade. It's more of like a peer-to-peer thing. So what happens now is through Telegram, Facebook, any kind of like indirect messaging. And what you do is you meet up with the person and you tell them, I want 100 Bitcoin. And they have it. So what you do is you meet up with them in person, you give them cash, and then they would send you the 100 Bitcoin. And obviously, you can see there's a lot of issues that could arise from that in terms of like, there's no trustability layer, right? You're meeting with strangers. So what we're doing at Flus is we're trying to create that trust layer by working with providers that exist already money transmitter providers where you can physically go to one of those providers and give them cash and get the cryptocurrency that you want.
And this identification or KYC, can you briefly tell us about it? Like what exactly is the process?
Yeah, so it happens in almost every application that you work with right now. So what you do is you put in your details, so your family, your name, your family name, your address, all of those, your birthday, and then you have to verify it with an identity card. So either your passport or driver's license or whatever verifies your identity, and then it goes to a provider that does those checks, and then it verifies you as you saying that you are who you are.
You know, we hear a lot that people are doing actually such kind of startups when it comes to the Web3 or crypto. But we're not aware if actually universities started teaching those kind of courses. What do you actually have to study? And do universities and colleges these days actually offer those majors to study as degrees?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you want to start your startup, I think that deserves a degree in itself because no one tells you what goes into being a founder. Thankfully, I know there's services that help with that. But I think we're starting to see more and more of blockchain courses exist in certain universities. They're adopting that. They're adopting this industry quite at a fast pace, I think. But in order to study, I think at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're building a tech startup, you're building a software company, you're building an application. So things you might want to study are like software development courses. If you're interested in development, you might want to study to develop in certain coding languages. You might, I think, studying also like if you want to be an entrepreneur, then you want to take entrepreneurship classes. But yeah, at the end of the day, you are building like a software company. So you do want to understand the software development cycle. You do want to understand things like agile methodology. So they do teach these things in university. As a crypto company, there's a lot that's still, I think, not very taught in schools. But thankfully, also because of the nature of this industry, there's so much education online. There's so many communities that are very willing to help, especially because we're in like an onboarding phase. So companies themselves keep pushing out educational content. We do a lot of educational educational things at Flus as well. So for anyone venturing into this space, there's a lot of accessible
information. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. If I want to talk about the different side of things, for example, what would you think would be a downside of converting if someone owns a lot of fiat money, let's say all I own is $100,000 and I would like to convert it to crypto. What would be the downside of converting all my money to crypto?
A couple of things. I think one, it depends what crypto. I didn't suggest if that's all the money you have to convert it into a volatile crypto, maybe a stable coin where you can easily, if you want to invest in other coins, but you're holding to just be at least pegged. The other thing is if you're not very knowledgeable on where to store your crypto, I think that's one of the most important things that you should learn before venturing into something like that. And it's like, don't ever hold all of your money on a centralized exchange. I'm sure, I don't know if your listeners have heard of FTX, but that collapse has been quite crazy for the industry and a big lesson for people to always hold your money. That's the ethos of crypto, not your keys, not your crypto. So if you want to put all your money in crypto, choose a crypto that's not very volatile, or if you're okay with some losses, and then store your money on what's called a non-custodial wallet where you own those coins and that wallet and the key to that wallet, and not on a centralized exchange.
Thank you so much, Juana, and appreciate your time. Hopefully next time we'll talk more about more details and technicalities when it comes to crypto with you, and looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.